Last lecture we have started this new topic, voltage control in single phase inverter. Okay. Means how we can control the output of single phase inverter. So there are different methods by which we can control the load voltage at the output side of this inverter. Okay. So first method is that we discussed in the last lecture, that is external control of AC output voltage. It means by using any external device you can control the AC output voltage. And then second method we see the external control of DC input voltage. In that also there are a number of methods by which you can control the input DC voltage given to the inverter. Ultimately your aim is to control the output voltage of your inverter. Yes. But in both this method you require the external devices. That's why it is called as the external control method. So it is not economically provide the control voltage to the inverter. So generally we not prefer these two methods. We use the third method which called as an internal control of the inverter. Yeah. So let's summarize all these first two methods quickly. So external control of AC output voltage, in which first method is AC voltage control, in which we require the AC voltage control to control the output voltage. So this gives the control output voltage at the input side of the AC. Now second method in this is the series inverter control, in which we require the two or more inverters, and output of these two inverters are connected in series by using the transformers. So the phase angle between the two output voltage of this inverter that decides the resultant output voltage at the input side of the load. Clear? So this input output voltage V0 of this inverter that is applied to the inverter, sorry, to the AC load. So that by changing the value of angle theta between V01 and V02, we can vary the value of this V0. So that is the second method of external control of AC output voltage. But as we can see that both the methods we require the external component like AC voltage controller and transformer. So economically it becomes very costly, and that also power loss is very high. So efficiency of the system is very low. So generally not prefer this system. Same way in the second external control of DC input voltage, there are a number of methods. You can see here there are 4 different methods by which you can control the input DC voltage given to the inverter and get the controlled AC at the load. But again, you can see that here the one or more external device is required. So generally we not prefer to use this method for the AC voltage control. Then we finally reach the next method or third method, which is very efficient as compared to the previous one. So internal control method of inverter. So in this method, we control the output voltage by the inverter itself. So as we know that in the inverter we use the number of semiconductors which is like thyristor or transistor. So by controlling the on and off time of all these switch, we can control the output voltage. So within this inverter, by using the control circuit, we can control the output voltage. So that's why it is called as an internal control of inverter. So let's see what is the method is. So in this method, we control the output voltage, and this method is called as the pulse width modulation technique. Yes, there are different PWM techniques. We see how we can achieve it. So by adjusting the on and off time of the switch. In inverter component means by the on and off control of this inverter switch, we can adjust the output voltage. So what are the advantages? So advantage first is there is no additional component is required. Second is lower order harmonics can be eliminated along with the voltage control, and higher order harmonic can be filtered out easily. This point we will discuss later on in detail why the lower order harmonics elimination is good as compared to the higher order harmonics. So because of this, lower order harmonic is less, we require the filter size very small. This is the third advantage. That is also related to the second advantage. We will discuss these 2 points in detail. The next slide. Second is what is the disadvantage? So disadvantage of is that as you see that here we adjust the output voltage by turning on and off the switch. Okay. So for that you require the SCR, which possesses the load turn on and turn off time. And but that device is very expensive. But this disadvantage outweigh your advantages. So it means this disadvantage is not so just that used for the advantages. So there are more advantages as compared to the disadvantages. So generally we prefer this method, internal control inverter. control the output voltage. Now let's one by one see what are the different internal control methods or different PWM techniques. First of all, we understand what is the PWM techniques. So in the inverter, produce the AC output voltage of variable magnitude and variable frequency. Okay. So the quality of the output voltage can also be greatly enhanced when compared with this square wave inverter. So as we see that in the first, we studied the square wave type of the inverter, half bridge and full bridge inverter. Okay. So that square wave we get because it contains the large amount of the harmonics. Our ideal requirement is what pure sine wave. Okay. So you get the square wave because that contains the more harmonics. So how to reduce the harmonics? So that is again by this PWM techniques. So you not just control the output voltage, you can also reduce the harmonic content in the output voltage by this PWM techniques or by this internal control method of this inverter. Okay. So pulse modulation technique, that is a process of modifying the width of pulses to obtain the variation in the output voltage. Okay. So that in the last lecture we discussed this first method, single pulse modulation techniques. There are 5 different techniques in which we will first discuss the first technique, single pulse modulation technique. So as per the name, single pulse modulation, it means that in the 1/2 cycle of your output voltage, you generate only one single pulse gate signal provided to this thyristor. Okay. So only one pulse is generated per half cycle, and width of this pulse is varied to control the inverter output voltage. Because as the width of gate signal is large, you can turn on your device. You can turn on a device for the large duration of time, so that you get the more output voltage. Okay. So as you can change the width of gate pulse, you can vary the or control the inverter output voltage. Yeah. So let's see the again with this method. So what is the method here? Single pulse modulation technique. So you can see that in this method, compare the triangular wave, which is called as a carrier wave, with the reference signal. Reference signal is the signal which you actually want at the output side of the inverter. Yeah. And the frequency of this reference signal, this square wave, that decides the frequency of your output voltage. Suppose you take the square root of 50 Hz, so your output voltage generated at the load side of the inverter, that is also 50 Hz. Yeah. So what is the logic here? When you compare this triangular wave with the square wave, and when the reference signal, the square wave is greater than this carrier wave, at that time they generate the gate pulse. You can see here, in this case, between these 2 points, here your reference signal, the square wave is more than triangular wave. Okay. So at that time they generate the gate pulse Ig1, Ig2. That you apply to S1 and S2. Okay. So only that duration of time you get the output voltage. You can see here. Okay. Only that duration of time you get the output voltage. Assume that the width of this pulse is 2. One thing is, remember that the peak magnitude of this carrier wave, here it is indicated by AC, and peak magnitude of reference signal, that is AR. So this AR is always less than AC. It means peak magnitude of carrier signal always higher than reference signal. When you use this any PWM techniques, not only this single pulse, but for any PWM techniques, this rule is fixed. Carrier signal peak magnitude is more than reference signal, and the ratio of this AR to AC, that is called as a modulation index. That is called as a modulation index, and this index used to control the output voltage. Yeah. So depending upon the value of this ratio, your output voltage at the load side is controlled. Yeah. And the frequency of this carrier signal, that decides the number of pulses per half cycle in the output signal. Okay. So that is a single pulse modulation technique, because you get only single pulse in 1/2 cycle, and you can say that by changing the width, you can also change the output of the input. Okay. Same way here in the negative cycle, you can see that here between these 2 points, your reference signal is more than triangular, so you generate this gate pulse Ig3 and Ig4. That you apply the switch number S3 and S4, so you get the negative voltage at the load side. Okay. So as you can compare this output of single pulse with modulation technique with the normal square wave inverter, you can see that this output of normal square wave inverter. In this case, you get the less output as compared to this output. Okay. So it means that you can vary the output between 0 to V watt in this technique, single pulse width modulation technique. But in this method, you cannot control. You get the fixed voltage V in the positive and fixed voltage minus V in the negative side. Okay. So that is the one advantage, that you can control the magnitude of the output voltage. So by changing the magnitude of the output voltage, also you can control the harmonics. Okay. So last lecture we discussed that Fourier analysis of the single pulse width modulation technique. This is the equation of output voltage of single pulse width modulation technique. If you separate each and every component of harmonics, like n is equal to 1, 3, and 5, so you can see the different component, first, third, and fifth harmonic. Same way you can do that for 7th, 9th, and so on. Okay? So fundamental component RMS value for n is equal to 1, that is 4 Vs by pi, sin pi by 2, sin d into sin omega. Okay? So its value is 4 Vs by pi, sin d into sin t. So maximum value is 4 Vs by pi into sin. This is the maximum value. Yeah. So in this method, suppose if you want to remove the third harmonics, yeah. So for that you require the width of this gate pulse is equal to pi. Yeah. So you can see that here, suppose here ND is equal to pi. ND, general equation, you can see here the output voltage equation sin ND, that becomes 0 when ND is equal to pi. Yeah. So D is equal to what? Pi by n. Suppose you want to remove the nth harmonic. Clear? So for that, you choose the width of the output pulse in such a way that becomes D is equal to pi by n. So by one example, you can see that suppose if you want to remove the third order harmonics, so it means n is equal to 3. So width of this pulse D is equal to what? Pi by 3. It means 2D is equal to what? 2 pi by 3. It means in this output voltage, suppose this is the 2D width. So this width must be a 120 degree if you want to remove the third order harmonics. Okay. So if you do the Fourier analysis of this output voltage for 2D is equal to 120 degree, then you can get the 0 third order harmonics. Okay. You can also check by the MATLAB simulation also. If you set the width 2D is equal to 120 degree in the output side, you get the 0 value of the third order harmonic. Same way, suppose if you want to remove the fifth order harmonic, so set the width 2D is equal to 2 pi by 5. Yeah. So then you can also remove this harmonics. So 2 pi by 5 is 72 degree. Okay. So last lecture we have also seen this graph 2D versus magnitude of the output voltage ratio. So as you can see here, this is the fundamental component n is equal to 1. That is the third order harmonic magnitude. And this is the fifth order harmonic. And this one is 7th order harmonic. So you can see that at 120 degree here, 2D is equal to 120 degree here. Your third order harmonic, this one, that becomes 0. Yeah. Same way here you can see here, fifth order harmonic, this waveform. Here at the angle of 72 degree, it means 2 pi by 5, your fifth harmonic is 0. It means when 2D is equal to 72 degree, so you can remove the fifth order harmonic. Yeah. Same way at this angle, you can remove the 7th order harmonic. Yeah. So depending upon the requirement, you can say select the width of gate pulse. So you can reduce the selected harmonics from your output voltage. But again, the one disadvantage of this method is what? You can remove any single harmonics from your output voltage. Okay. So this is one of the advantage we can say that as compared to the normal inverters, web inverter, that you not just control the output of the inverter output voltage, but you can also control the harmonic content in the output voltage, so that you can reduce the size of the filter. So this is all about the single pulse width modulation technique. Next one is multiple pulse width modulation technique. So in the last method we use only single pulse per half cycle. In this method there are many number of pulses per half cycle, and the number of pulse depends upon the frequency of your triangular wave. The logic is same. You compare the triangular wave with the reference signal, but the logic is that here you use the frequency of the carrier signal is very high, depending upon the requirement of number of pulses. If you require more number of pulses per half cycle, so the carrier wave frequency must be high. So here you can see the one example of 2 pulse modulation. It means there are 2 pulses per half cycle. So for that you get the 2 pulses at the output side, each have width of B, and you can see that here that is separated by some of the distance, and width of each pulse is remains same, that is d. Here. So that again the logic is same. Compare the triangular wave with the square wave using the comparator circuit, using the comparator logic operator, and then at the output you get the pulse when your square wave or when the reference signal is more than this triangular wave. Logic is same as we see in the single pulse width modulation technique. So when your square wave is more than triangular wave, you get the trigger pulse, so that turn on your thyristor or transistor, whatever switch you can use. So that gives the output voltage and the output side of the network. Okay. So here you can see that in this output voltage, suppose we assume that this is a gamma, and so this width of gamma is pi minus 2d divided by 3 plus d by 2. This width from the center of this pulse to starting of this wave. Here, this gamma equation will be useful to derive the value of the each and every harmonic component. Let's see the Fourier analysis of this two pulse modulation technique. But before that, let's see the three pulse modulation technique. So in this, you can see that compare the reference signal, which is a square wave, and triangular wave. So you can see that when your reference the square wave is more than triangular, at that time generate the gate pulse and generate the output voltage. Clear? Same way here you can see that here the triangular wave is more, so that generates the zero output. But here reference is more than triangular, so that generates the output. Same way in the negative cycle also. Clear? So here this number of pulses in the output that decide the frequency of the carrier signal. As the frequency of this triangle is high, you generate the more number of pulses at the output signal. So let's see the Fourier analysis of these two pulse width modulation techniques. So here directly write this equation: 8 Vs by n pi sin n gamma sin n d by 2 into sin n omega t. That is the Fourier analysis of two pulse width modulation technique. You separate out each and every harmonic component, so you get this equation. Putting n is equal to 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, n is equal to 1, 3, and 5. So you get the three different components. Same way you can write for 7th and 9th the harmonics. So in this method, you will see that peak value of RMS value of your fundamental component that becomes 8 Vs by pi sin gamma sin d by 2 into sin omega t. First component. It means for n is equal to 1. So peak value is what? 8 Vs by pi sin gamma into sin d by 2. This component. Okay? Now, again in this method, there is a one disadvantage. So what is the disadvantage? Let's check this. Suppose you select the width of this pulse. 2d is equal to 72 degree. 2d is equal to 72 degree. 72 degree. It means the width of this output pulse d is equal to 36 degree. 2d is equal to 72 degree. It means suppose your width of this output pulse, one pulse, is 36 degree. So at that time, what is the peak value of output voltage in this two pulse modulation techniques? And what is the peak magnitude for the single pulse width modulation techniques? So as we see in the single pulse width modulation technique, the equation is that peak magnitude of the fundamental component equation is that V01n 4 Vs by pi into sin d. Here. So if you put the here, d is equal to 72 degree, it means d is equal to 36 degree. So what is the magnitude of this peak magnitude? So let's check that peak magnitude in the case of single pulse width modulation technique for 2d is equal to 72 degree in single pulse width modulation technique. Okay. Equation is again repeat 4 Vs by pi into sin d. So d is equal to what? 72 by 2, 36 sin 36 into 4 Vs by pi. So you get the peak magnitude of fundamental component 0.7484 times Vs. That is in the case of single pulse width modulation technique. But same, suppose if you find out the peak magnitude in two pulse width modulation technique. So as we see the equation of two pulse width modulation technique, peak magnitude is what? 8 Vs by pi sin gamma into sin d by 2. So for the same width of d, 36 degree, if you put in this equation, d is equal to 36. Here equation is d by 2 sin d by 2. So that is 36 by 2. And gamma equation is pi minus 2d by 3 plus d by 2. So put the value of d is equal to 36 or 2d is equal to 72. So you get the gamma 54 degree. So if you put this value gamma here in this equation and value of d, so you get the peak magnitude of fundamental component, that is 0.637 times base. So what is the conclusion from this calculation? Can anyone give me the answer? What is the conclusion from this? For the same width of output voltage, in single pulse with modulation, you get the peak magnitude of fundamental component V01M 0.748 times Vs, where in the two pulse with modulation technique, for the same width of output voltage, you get the fundamental peak 0.637 times Vs. So what is the meaning of this? Yes, anyone? Anyone can explain me this? What is the meaning of this calculation? Or what this calculation tells us? What is the difference between these two methods? Yes, anyone? 10 number meaning?
In pulse modulation technique, the value is lesser than the as compared to the single pulse modulation technique.
Yes. So as we increase the number of pulse, in single pulse we have only single pulse per half cycle. In two pulse we have two pulse per half cycle. Yeah. So as compared to the single pulse, in two pulse we have less magnitude of fundamental component. So as we increase the number of pulse, it means like 3, 4, 5 or multiple pulse modulation technique. So in that case, this magnitude, fundamental magnitude, sorry, maximum value of the fundamental component V01N, that is decreases as increases the number of pulses. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Suppose if we increase this 2 pulse, 3 pulse modulation technique. So for the same width of output voltage, you get the peak of this fundamental less than this. Same way, suppose you use the 5th pulse modulation technique or 6th pulse modulation technique. So as you increase the number of pulses, what will happen? The fundamental magnitude of the output voltage increases. It means your fundamental power will decrease. Clear? So power will decrease. It means what? You give the same power to both the inverter. Suppose you get the 100 watt power to single pulse modulation technique. Same power you give to the 2 pulse modulation technique. But in both the case, you get the different output voltage. It means different power. So it means what? In the case of multiple pulse modulation techniques, the efficiency is lower. Yes or no? All of you can understand. Efficiency is low because you get the less output voltage. Ultimately, your power is less. So one conclusion from this, comparing these two techniques, single pulse and multiple pulse, that the efficiency in the multiple pulse with modulation is less as compared to the single pulse with modulation technique. But what is the biggest advantage of this multiple pulse with modulation technique is that by increasing the number of pulses in half cycle, we can reduce the lower order harmonics. We can reduce the lower order harmonics. But what is the advantage of reducing the lower order harmonics? Anyone know this? What is the biggest advantage of
So
reducing the
lower
lower?
order harmonics
Yes.
have more magnitude as compared to the higher order harmonics.
Yes, yes, that is true. But what is the advantage of reducing the lower order harmonics? What are the lower order harmonics? Our definition is lower order harmonics. That is the harmonics which are near to the fundamental component, is near to the 50 Hz component, and its magnitude is 3% or more than 3% of the fundamental component. And as we see that in the inverter, mostly odd order harmonics are present. Here, like 3, 5, 7, like this way. Okay. So nearer harmonics is what? Third, fifth, and seventh. That are the nearest harmonics or lower order harmonics. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
If you see the Fourier analysis in the simulation, the last time, in that also you can see that the lower order harmonics magnitude is very large as compared to the higher order. Third, fifth, and seventh order harmonics magnitude is larger as compared to the 9th, 11th, and 13th order. So as you increase the harmonics order, the magnitude is decreases. Clear? But what is the advantage of reducing this higher order harmonic, reducing this magnitude of lower order harmonic, that the size of the filter you can reduce. Let's understand this. How you can reduce the size of the filter. All of you can see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Blackboard दिखाई दे रहा है?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's see this. Understand it. What is the advantage of removing the lower order harmonics? It means third, fifth, and seventh. So all of you know that to remove the harmonic we require what? Filter circuit. Yes or no? You know that which component we use in the filter circuit? क्या component use करें? Anyone know this?
R and C.
R and C, L and C. Yes or no? It means we use inductor, capacitor to remove the harmonic. If you know about the passive filter like this. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
L and C is a basic filter component, inductor or capacitor. So as you know the equation of inductive reactors XL. Inductive reactors XL is what? 2 pi F into L. Here. Now if you know this equation, XL is equal to 2 pi F into L. Here. So what is the equation of inductor? L is equal to what? L is equal to what? XL divided by 2 pi into F. It means your inductor is inversely proportional to frequency. Yes or no? Inductor value is inversely to the frequency. It means as the frequency is high, the value of inductor is low. So same concept in the filter circuit also. If you want to remove the higher order harmonics, it means if the frequency is large, so at that time you require the low value of inductor. Small value or low value of inductor means what? You require the small size of the filter. Here, it means if the size of the inductor decreases, the overall size of the filter is also reduced. If you want to remove the higher order harmonics, higher order harmonic means frequency is high. Higher order harmonic is like suppose 11th order harmonics. 11th order. So 11th order harmonics frequency is what? 11 multiplies 50. It is 550 Hz. And lower order harmonic is suppose you take third order harmonic. So third order harmonic frequency is what? It is 3 times 50. 150 Hz. So in which case you require the large size of inductor? Is removing of 11th order harmonics or removing of third order harmonics? क्या केस में हमारा large size of inductor? Yes.
11th order.
11th order because frequency is the inductor value is inversely proportional to frequency. So as the frequency of harmonic is increases, you require the low size of the low value of the inductor. Yeah. So for removing the lower order harmonics, it means third, fifth, and seventh, which frequency is low as compared to the higher order harmonic. So you require the large size of the tank. It means you require the large size of the filter circuit. Same again, inductor is not only one component used in the filter. Use the capacitor also. So what is the equation of capacitor reactance? X is equal to what? X is
1 upon 2 pi FC.
1 upon 2 pi Fc.
2 pi.
So what is the magnitude of C capacitors? Compare with it in terms of frequency. So C is equal to what? 1 upon
1 by
2 pi F into Xc. So again in this case also capacitor is inversely proportional to the frequency. Yes sir. So again the same logic. If you remove the lower order harmonic at third, fifth, and seventh, frequency is low, so you require the large size of the capacitor. So for removing the lower order harmonic, you require the large size of inductor as well as capacitor. So ultimately the size of filter will increase. And as the size of filter will increase, what will happen? Cost of the filter will increase. Clear? So that's why removing the lower order harmonic is advantageous as compared to removing the higher order harmonic. Understand now this concept? Why removing the lower order harmonic is advantageous as compared to the higher order harmonics in inverter? All of you understand this?
Yes.
So in this multiple pulse modulation, we do the same thing. As we increase the number of pulses per half cycle, the magnitude of this lower order harmonic is automatically reduces. That we will see in the simulation also by FFT analysis. You can see that in the multiple pulse modulation technique, the magnitude of this lower order harmonic is increases as you increase the number of pulses. So ultimately, you require the small size of LNC or filter circuit. So ultimately, the cost of your own inverter is reduced. Okay. So that is the one advantage. Biggest advantage of using the multiple pulse modulation technique. But one drawback is what? You can get the less efficiency of inverter because output voltage becomes less. Output voltage, fundamental output voltage become less in multiple pulse modulation technique as compared to the single pulse modulation technique. Clear? Understand this concept? Okay. So let's now switch to the presentation. Now you can get the screen, presentation screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's why you can see here. Pulse width model, multiple pulse width modulation technique, we see that fundamental component of output voltage is low for two pulse modulation than for the single pulse width modulation. That we already see in the last slide. We prove mathematically also. But advantage is that the lower order harmonics are eliminated. Lower order harmonic means third, fifth, and seventh. You cannot completely eliminate, but you can reduce the magnitude of this third order harmonic, fifth order, and seventh order. Okay. So that you require a small size of the field. And higher order harmonics are increased. So higher order harmonics are increased. It means what? Harmonics, higher order harmonics, magnitude is increased. So as we can see the equation of L and C, as the frequency is increases, the size of L and C is decreases. So to removing the higher order harmonic, you require the small size of the filter. Clear? So that's why I have written that higher order harmonic can be filtered easily. Easily filtered, it means economically it becomes less costlier than removing the lower order harmonics. Clear? So that's why they say that harmonics can be filtered out easily, and this scheme is advantageous than the single pulse modulation because the single pulse modulation technique, the lower order harmonics is very high. Okay. So if you want to remove the lower order harmonic, you must select the multi-pulse modulation technique so that you can generate the large number of pulses per half cycle. So for that, you require to turn on and turn off your thyristor frequently. Yeah, because suppose you use the 5 pulse modulation technique. So you require the 5 pulse in half cycle. So for that, you turn on and turn off your switch 5 times. Yeah. So your thyristor or transistor must be capable to turn on and turn off frequently. Yeah. And how you get this large number of pulse per half cycle? So that is depend upon the frequency of your carrier signal. Frequency of carrier signal. But again, one disadvantage is what in this method, as you increase the number of pulse, so you require the large number of times to turn and turn off of the switch. So that creates the switching loss in the inverter. As the number of pulse is high, you require to more frequently turn on and turn off of your thyristor. So that creates the switching loss, and ultimately the efficiency of the inverter decreases. So, what is the final conclusion in this multiple pulse width modulation? That if you want to remove the harmonics, you have to compromise with the efficiency of the inverter. Because as we can see that for multi-pulse inverter, you get the less magnitude of the output voltage. So ultimately the efficiency reduces. But at the same time, the lower the harmonic is eliminated, so that you require the small size of the filter, so it becomes economical. So you have to compromise between two things, efficiency and economical point of view, like less filter requirement. So you design the inverter based on your requirement. Suppose you require the high efficiency inverter, so go for the low pulse width modulation technique, like single pulse width modulation technique, in which you get the more output voltage. If you want to design the harmonics, if you design the inverter with low harmonic content, so go for the multiple pulse width modulation technique. Clear the comparison between single and multiple pulse width modulation? Are you clear now? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So let's again understand this method by this 5 pulse modulation technique. So you can see that here in this case, the frequency of this triangular wave is high as compared to the previous 2 pulse modulation technique or 3 pulse modulation technique. You can see here in the figure, this is the frequency of triangular wave with the 3 pulse modulation. Okay. So you can see that you get the 3 complete cycle in 1/2 cycle of your reference signal. So you get the 3 pulse in half cycle. But in this 5 pulse modulation technique, you can see the frequency is 5 times the frequency of your reference signal. So in this case, you get the 5 pulse per half cycle. Logic is saying when your reference signal, this square wave, is more than this triangular wave, at that time generate the gate pulse. So you can see that between these 2 points, alpha 1 to alpha 2, reference is greater than triangular, so that generate the gate pulse here. Same way between alpha 3 to alpha 4, generate the gate pulse, alpha 5 to alpha 6, alpha 7 to alpha 8, and alpha 9 to alpha 10. So 5 pulse you get at the output side. Same way 5 pulse you get at the negative side also. Okay. So by comparing this reference signal, square wave, with the carrier signal, here you get the more number of pulses, and the magnitude of your output voltage that decides by the modulation index. What is the modulation index? The ratio of AR by AC. AR is the peak of reference, AC is the peak of carrier signal. And the frequency of your output voltage that decided by the frequency of this reference signal. Suppose this reference signal, this square wave frequency is 50 Hz, so your output voltage frequency is also 50 Hz. Here. So take the reference signal with the frequency which you actually want at the output side of the inverter. Clear? So output of this method, 5 pulse modulation technique, you get like this. 5 number of pulses in each half cycle. This is the gate pulse G1 for first 2 switches S1 and S4. So that gives the output like this way. Same way, gate pulse G4 for both the switches G2 and G3. At that time, you get the negative one like this. Okay. So in this case, if you do the Fourier analysis, the lower order harmonics are reduced, like third, fifth, and seventh, as compared to the 2 or 3 pulse modulation technique. So the equation you can write of number of pulses per half cycle, P is equal to Fc divided by 2 times F0, where Fc is the frequency of carrier signal, means this frequency of this triangular wave, and F0, that is the frequency of this reference signal. Okay. So here, how many pulses you get? In this case, it is 5 pulses. Why? Because the Fc, means carrier wave frequency, is what? 5 times the frequency of your fundamental. Suppose your fundamental F0 is 50 Hz. So Fc is how much? How much? Can you say Fc? 250 times. It is 250 times, or 250 Hz, or 500 Hz. Yes. In this example, you get the 5 pulse per half cycle. Clear? So what is the frequency of this triangular wave in one complete cycle? Kitty frequency triangular wave. Yes, anyone? Give me the answer. Yes, 18 number. What is the frequency of this carrier signal? Sakit, 18 number.
Yes, sir. I'm there.
Yes, what is the frequency of this triangular wave? Yes, give the answer. 18 number.
Sir,
See, but just seeing this waveform, you can give the answer. You can see how many times the cycle is completed. How many times you get the peak of triangular in half cycle? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here, 5 times in one half cycle. Same way, 5 times in the negative cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 10 times peak. It means 10 complete cycle of triangular wave in one complete cycle, where your reference signal is complete only one cycle, this positive and this negative, one complete cycle. So in one complete cycle of your reference signal, your triangular wave completes the 10 cycle. So fundamental frequency, suppose this reference signal square wave frequency is suppose 50 Hz. So what is the frequency of this triangular wave? That is my question. Yes, 18 number.
500.
It is 500? Yes or no? So the equation of number of pulses per half cycle, Fc by 2F0. So you can see that for this example, you get the number of pulses, P is equal to 5. Clear? Where ratio of Fc divided by F0, that is called as the frequency modulation ratio. MF, that is nothing but ratio of Fc divided by F0, that is called as the frequency modulation ratio. Clear? So as you increase the frequency of carrier signal Fc, you get the more and more number of pulses in half cycle, so that you can reduce the lower order. All of you understand this concept? So can move for the next PWM technique. Yes or no? Can I go there? Yes or no? Is there a doubt? Multiple pulse combination technique. મેં બધા સાંભળો છો ને કે નહીં સુઈ ગયા છે give the answer yes or no સમજ પડી કે નહીં
સર
yes
આમાં સર 5 પલ્સ હોય તો પહેલી 5 હાર્મોનિક જે હોય પણ એને ઓછી કરે કે એવું કઈ હોય
see this is the only single output single cycle this is only one cycle at the output side you always measure the harmonic in one cycle. Okay, so that reduce the harmonic in one complete cycle, not only for this single pulse. Clear? This single pulse is the one of the part of your total output voltage of one cycle. Clear? So by chopping your waveform like this way, overall your harmonic in this complete cycle is reduced. Not only in this pulse or this pulse or this pulse. Clear? What is your complete cycle? This one. This is positive and this is negative. So that complete one cycle. Clear? Understand or not? Here you can see in this graph that is the only one cycle of your output voltage. So you can reduce the harmonic, overall harmonic in one complete cycle. If you see the FFT analysis in the simulation, we select the only one cycle. આપણે એક cycle select કરતા હતા યાદ છે કોઈને? We start from the start time 0 and select the number of cycle 1. So that select the first cycle and calculate the THD, and that shows the number of harmonics in terms of bar chart as well as we can see in the terms of percentage contribution also. Okay. So you always measure the harmonic in one complete cycle, not for any one pulse in your output voltage. Understand? All of you? Okay. So when you do the Fourier analysis of this output voltage, here, so in that case you get the third, fifth, and seventh, this lower order harmonics magnitude less as compared to the single pulse width modulation technique or normal inverter like square inverter. As we see in the example as well as simulation, the third order harmonic magnitude is for 33%. Yeah, our calculation derived. As well as we also see in the simulation also that magnitude of third order harmonic, that is 33%. Yeah. So that third order harmonic magnitude is less in case of this multiple pulse width modulation. Understand? All of you?
Yes, sir.
So ultimately your THD is less. Our aim is what? To reduce the harmonic content in your output. So if you observe that in the single pulse width modulation technique or square wave, we get the total harmonic distortion around 48%. But in the case of this multiple pulse width modulation technique, you get the THD less than this. So that's why it means you can require the less sine. That is the advantage of using the multiple pulse width modulation. Now let's see the third method, sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique. Sometimes this method also called as the SPWM technique, sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique. In this method again, the logic is same. We use the several number of pulses per half cycle as we see in the multiple pulse width modulation technique. But the difference is what? If you see in the multiple pulse width modulation technique, the width of each pulse, gate pulse, or you can say the width of each pulse in the output voltage, that is remains same. Yeah. So suppose this width is delta, one pulse width is delta, same width you get for the second, third, or all the pulses. Yeah. So in the multiple pulse width modulation technique, you generate the gate pulse of same width for each switches. Clear? But in the case of sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique, the width of each pulse that is modulated in proportional to the amplitude of the sine wave. So what is the meaning of this sentence? As you can see that sine wave, the magnitude increases from 0 to 90 degrees. If you see, if you draw the sine wave, start from the 0 angle. So magnitude is increases from 0 to 90 degree. 90 degree it reaches the peak value. Then after 90 to 180, this magnitude reduces. Same way from 180 to 270, the magnitude is increases but in negative direction. And from 270 to 360, the magnitude is decreases. Okay. So in the case of sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique, the width of each pulse that is modulated in proportional to the amplitude of the sine wave. It means that as the sine wave amplitude is changed, the width of pulse is also changed. Let's see by the example also you can understand this concept. So in this method, The logic is saying we compare the reference signal with the triangle. But the difference is that here we take the sinusoidal signal as a reference signal. If you see in both this method, previous to single pulse and multiple pulse modulation technique, we take the square wave as a reference signal. The square wave as a reference signal. Clear? But in the case of sinusoidal pulse modulation, as you can see the name of this technique, here we take the reference signal as a sine wave. Pure sine wave we take as the reference signal. Means we compare the sine wave with the high frequency triangular wave. Clear? And the width of each pulse is varied according to the magnitude of this sine wave. Again, here the frequency of carrier signal that decide the frequency of output voltage. So suppose your frequency of the sine wave, which is a reference signal here, is 50 Hz. So your output voltage frequency is also 50 Hz. And the ratio of peak of reference signal, it means peak of sinusoidal divided by peak of carrier signal VC, that is called as a modulation index. Same as the previous two method, and this decides the output voltage, or that controls the magnitude of output voltage at the inverter side. And number of pulses per half cycle, that is again decided by what? Frequency of your triangular signal. See, that is common for all the PWM technique. First thing is VR by VC, which is the modulation index that decides or that controls the magnitude of output voltage. Second, the frequency of reference signal that decides the frequency of your output voltage. And third one is the number of pulses per half cycle is depend upon the frequency of your carrier signal, which is your triangular. Okay. So these three things is common in all the PWM techniques: single pulse, multiple pulse, or this sinusoidal pulse modulation. So let's see that by example how we can get the modulated pulse by this sinusoidal pulse modulation technique. So here in this technique, you can see that we compare the sinusoidal reference signal with the high frequency triangular. Here again, peak of carrier AC, which is more than peak of your reference signal. Clear? That is common again for all the PWM. Now we can see that apply the same logic. When your reference signal magnitude is more than this triangular wave, at that time generate the gain pulse. So you can see that at the starting, when this sine wave is compared with this triangular, you can see that the width of output voltage is less. Yeah, because for a small duration of time here, your reference become more than this triangle. So you get the output voltage only this. But as the angle is increases from 0 to 90 degree, you can see that you get the more time where your reference is more than your triangle. So that width of the output voltage is increasing. So you can see that at the 90 degree here, you get the maximum width of your output voltage. Maximum width of your output voltage. You can see that here you get the maximum width where your reference is more than carrier. Same way here, your reference is more than carrier, so you generate the output voltage. So if you take the average of this pulse and join this average point, you get the nearer to the sine wave. Not exactly sine wave, but your output voltage is get nearer to the sine wave. Here in the waveform, it is not look like a sine wave, but if you draw the average of this output voltage, so it is look like a sine wave. Clear? Same way in the negative cycle, again the same logic, when your reference is more than carrier, it generates the output voltage. So as we move from 180 degree to 270, where magnitude is increases of the sine wave, so you can see that the width of output pulse is also increases, and it is maximum at 3 pi by 2 or 270 degree. And as we move from 272 degree to 270 degree to 360 degree, where sinusoidal pulse magnitude is reducing, the output pulse width is also reducing. Okay. So if you take the average of this pulse, that is also again look like a sine. If you join the average point of this pulse, then it is look like a sine. In short, if you generate the output voltage which is nearer to the sine wave, it means that your output contains the less harmonic. Clear? If you get the pure sine wave at the output side of the inverter, like this waveform, if you get this waveform at the output side of the inverter, it means your output contains zero harmonic. But that is not possible practically at all. Clear? It is never possible that you get the pure sine wave at the output of the inverter, even if you use the filter circuit, because it is not possible to remove all the harmonic from your output. But it is possible that you can reduce the harmonic content in your output by some technique. So one of the technique which is best suitable for the inverter, that is the sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique, in which your output voltage becomes more and more near to the sinusoidal. It means output contains very less harmonics as compared to the another PWM technique. So generally in the inverter we prefer to use this method because it contains the less harmonic, we require the less size of the filter, so ultimately the cost of inverter becomes less. Here. So that is a efficient or best method to not even control the output voltage, but also to reduce the harmonic also. Here. Our first function or first idea of using this PWM technique is what? To control the magnitude of output voltage. But when we control the output voltage, that increase the harmonic, as we see in the single and multiple pulse width modulation technique. But use the one method which reduce the harmonic as well as they give the more efficiency. That method is best suited for the inverter. So in that sinusoidal pulse width modulation, which you get the less harmonic as well as you get the more efficient inverter. And due to that reason, we generally prefer this sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique. All of you understand this technique and logic? So this is just a concept, because again in this single pulse sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique, there are two categories. One is bipolar technique and another is unipolar technique. Yeah. So that two techniques we will discuss in this today's lab section, and we also do the practical in simulation also how we can reduce the harmonics by this technique, sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique. Clear? So this is a basic of SPWM technique, in which there are two methods. First is bipolar technique and unipolar technique. Okay. So these two techniques we will discuss in today's lab hours, and understand that how we can reduce the harmonics by these two techniques. Clear? So here I stop this lecture. If you are in doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can stop this lecture here. Yes, any doubt? Any?